Yeah, we should probably I was gonna say we'll get back on track here. I'll cut the intro here really quick. So yeah, welcome to Thought That Was Weird. We are back again with Mr. Kuya DK. Yeah, I'm kicking some Minecraft. Kuya unfortunately lost his interwebs, but was very gracious enough to still join us today, and we're gonna talk some more about Hyperion, if I'm not mistaken.
Was that the cold open?
That is the cold open. I'm
Everything
trying.
up until now was the cold open?
Everything up until now was the most elaborate, wonderful cold open ever. Again, I think I'm going to have like a whole another bit where I like.
That's absolutely a whole episode what we just did.
That's totally what we just did. Absolutely. Yeah, Yes, for those of you who are not watching the live stream, this has been going on for about an hour now, and you missed a whole range of fun topics, ranging from our horrible living conditions and among other things, including Kuya's fear of blobs and my fear of mustard. So so again, if you want to make sure you catch that fun little pieces of information, you best join us live next time on twitch.tv/thrashkaishu or kuyadk.tv. And I guess we'll get rolling back into it. So I was gonna say I don't have my notes in front of me. So so where are we leaving off today? I believe we were going on to the there was like a detective story, a noir story.
Yes. The Long Goodbye.
The Long Goodbye. Again,
So,
it's like sounds like I've been playing New Vegas. This sounds like a New Vegas like mission title.
oh, this is that kind of dirty cyberpunk kind of story.
I like it.
That not even there's a lot of very cyberpunk concepts in this, but I'm definitely you know what Necromunda is? I thought about Necromunda a lot while
Necromunda?
reading this chapter.
I have no idea what Necromunda is.
Well, it's a Games Workshop game. Games Workshop makes like Warhammer and miniatures and paints and stuff. But Necromunda is it takes place in like the sewer levels of these giant, maybe planet-wide cities, and it's like the underbelly stories, and the gangs, and it's all pipes, and it's almost a little bit cyberpunk and a little bit steampunk. It's very pipes. It's Mario would love it. It's when Mario does a dark sci-fi fantasy role-playing game at home, he plays Necromunda.
Interesting.
It's all kinds of pipes and science fiction sewers. And whatever the planet Bronlamia is called, that's what it's like. It's a dense, industrial, high-gravity planet. I cast her in my mind as a Klingon. I pictured her as a Klingon. I tend to picture... I do a really weird thing when I cast books in my mind. Because I do usually picture an actor or someone as each of the characters. Sometimes I get it right, which is funny. But I realized, remember when we were talking about the Bakura, the little guys with the cruciforms? I was picturing tonberries. You know what those are?
Tonberries? I'm not sure.
Ton. They're from Final Fantasy.
I don't believe I'm familiar with those now.
Oh, well, they're little guys in cloaks with knives.
Interesting.
So they suited the little guys in Hyperion. But why the tonberry is notorious is it's one of those creatures that will like one shot you absolutely dead. So it's like a puzzle enemy that you have to figure out how to kill it really fast or make sure that it doesn't hit you with that one shot, because no matter what, it'll kill you. They stab you just straight to death. But I changed my mind because I've been playing Fall Guys, and whenever that horde of Fall Guys, Pill Guys is rolling and going blip 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 and bouncing around each other,
now that I
think about the little Bakuras bouncing around and stabbing people to death.
Now that I know you have Fall Guys, that's besides Cuphead, we got to do that. Ooh, I found some emeralds. Nice. But yeah, Fall Guys. I have that for PlayStation. I think it's cross-platform, isn't it?
I'm not sure, but I have. But it's convenient that we both have PS4s. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is true too. But
Um.
yeah, rad stuff.
Yeah, because that's the one platform I don't have Cuphead on for some reason. I seriously own 3 copies of that game. I own, what was the one? There's some. I think I have like 10 copies of Symphony of the Night in this because I have it on I have it redundantly on consoles that I'm never going to use again.
Oh gosh, what's that? There's been this YouTuber I've been watching, Dragon HD, I believe his name or their name is. Shoot, does Symphony of the Night speed runs? Like, had the world record
Oh.
for any percent as far as the last time that I saw. But yeah, they're great. Like, fan. I don't know too much about them, but like fan flipping task. I'll have to. Whoa, where's that spider? That thing just screamed at me.
Ugh.
Yeah, the spiders make screeching noises.
Yeah.
And it's petrifying. I have no idea where it went to. It's probably somewhere under here, and it'll probably kill me. Yep, there you are. I see you, buddy. Let's see, are you friendly down here? I'm not dealing with you either way. Oh, you're glitched. Oh, you're glitched. Perfect. I get free string.
Can they be friendly?
So during the daytime they are.
Oh.
During the nighttime they become aggressive. For some reason, I've never understood that. What? Well.
Did you watch Arcane, the League of Legends TV show?
No. It's unfortunately a bit triggering for me. I had a partner who thoroughly enjoyed League of Legends and was very toxic while playing it, and so now every time I think about League, I just think about just the most utter awful people on the planet. Like literally, like I've never heard people like again, we're like in our early 30s, and this woman's screaming, "You are such trash! You are such trash!" in the chat. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I get like like being competitive and like yeah, I nabbed ya sort of thing, but like just very negative toxicity and like unnecessary like unsportsmanship. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like the old guy on my porch, and I'm like, you know what? You shake hands, you say good game, and then you go home and you have your juice boxes.
Yeah, like, we feel like that. I had one roommate that you would not believe the shit that came out of his mouth for 12 hours a day.
That's horrifying.
I couldn't believe it. Actually horrifying.
Jeez.
Just terrible abuse. Just like at people that may as well not be people, because you're never gonna see. But I mean, but that guy also played arenas, so he was on teams. He had people that were his teammates, and when he was talking to those people, he was worse than with the anonymous people, because he knew how to he knew what was going to upset them when he was talking to them. I could hear him like being manipulative and abusive in his speech. It was horrifying. Oh my god.
Terrible.
Gamer.
Fucking again, dude. Like, like we've all had our moments where we we rage, man. But like it's about like
some people that's where they want to be.
Like some people like seem to treat that as like a perpetual necessity to their personality.
Yeah.
Like that's the
they
thing
feel
that
strong and competitive.
Yeah,
like fight.
Like again, why I didn't like team sports as a kid. I loved playing sports as a kid. I just hated
the people were fucking awful.
Oh my gosh.
People were fucking terrible. Jesus Christ.
Oh goodness.
I recommend Arcane to anyone that, I mean, if I talk to someone that, well, I was about to bring it up. I'll tell you why I was about to bring it up. But
what's up?
I recommend. I loved it. I loved it so fucking much. I have
Really?
recommended it to so many people over the past year, and
That's cool.
90% of everyone that I have recommended it to has told me this story. I've had this conversation every time I recommend that stupid anime.
Oh, really?
Because
About how horrible. Everybody has that
knows
person.
a League player that they had an awful toxic experience with. Everybody knows a fucking League player.
Oh my god. Yeah, like
When people start getting mad online, I'm gonna start saying, "Who was the League player that hurt you? Tell me about the League player that hurt you. Let's get it out. I know one did."
I don't know who's running the, I don't give a shit who's trash running the bot lane. Like, worry about yourself. Stop yelling at everybody else.
I've now recast Braun Lamia. I've recast her as a character named Savika from Arcane.
Fun.
So she's running around. She's a detective.
Mm-hmm.
And some guy comes to her, and he's like, well, she's not a detective. She's a private investigator. The guy comes to her, and he says, I want you to investigate a murder. And the first thing she says, a murder most foul. And she says, well, what do the enforcers have to say about it? And he says, they don't know about it. And she says, well, I don't think I'm allowed to investigate a murder if the police, the enforcers, whoever, haven't been. Enforcers are from League. I don't know what they call the cops on Kasan. No.
Oh, shit.
Her planet might be called Kasa or Kasu, something like that. It's a heavy Klingon planet.
Yeah.
They're not Klingons, they're humans. But it's a low grab. They talk about how everyone is broad-shouldered and tough. She's a tough, hard-boiled private eye. But she says, well, who was murdered if the cops don't even know about it? How could they not know about it? There's the internet, by the way. I don't think I've even mentioned this because, first of all, I think this is awesome. But I also think it's like, I don't know. I think this is something that I would name something and everyone would go, that's such a weird thing to call it. But the internet, it's basically the internet. But whatever the whole system that they're all plugged into to communicate for news and politics, and they vote through it, and the whole system is called the all.
Wait, the what? You broke up there for a second.
So they're all plugged into the all thing. That, I guess it.
Oh. I was gonna say you're busting up there. One second. Oh. That's very strange.
Sorry, it's phasing. How do I sound?
You were busting up there for a second. You were like phasing in and out.
Yeah, that's common.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm on like cellular data.
Oh yeah, they'll get you for that. So you like literally every single time that you tried to tell me what it was called, it basically phased out. What is it called again?
That's very funny. I don't know. I was saying that I don't know what the planet is called.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. That's so
the man. She says to this prospective client, who was murdered, and he says, I was. Bah, bah, bah. So this is why. So all right. So here comes the WB, the world building. I'm trying not to say it. You know what someone said to me? Someone said, everybody I know that uses the term world building has their head up their ass.
The fuck? Well, then what are you supposed to call it? World development or
because like that's
societal?
But no, it's one of those pop art buzzwords right now. It's one of those everyone's like, oh yeah, well, what about the world building? It's just one of those. It's one of those right now.
I get it.
So Johnny, this is John Keats. Finally, here we are. This whole thing is about John Keats. These books are about John Keats. The war is about John Keats. The planet Hyperion is all the things there are influenced by John Keats. Someone has written a poem that John Keats once wrote his muse. The Shrike is going to turn out to be John Keats for some reason. This is all going to be, I really feel like there's either going to be some kind of Evangelion, everyone turns into liquid and the universe gets reset, or this is all a weird cyber revenge. John Keats from beyond the grave returns as an army of Shrike liquid metal. Anyway, so Johnny he was killed. He's a cybrid, is what they call it. He is, most AIs do not exist in bodies. Most AIs exist within the technocore, which I mentioned. The hegemony is not even. We are allied with the technocore. I say we when I talk about the hegemony because that's the. That's the Federation of Planets. That's where mankind mostly is. Even the ousters are, different. We'll talk about the ousters in the next story.
Right.
So, but those are the three main entities out in space, and we don't. But within the techno core, there is something called the like the data realm or something, which sounds like what it is. And then and it's not very common. It's not like you meet a lot of cybrids out on the street. And it actually turns out that much like Blade Runner and other things, these cybrids are not perfect, and eventually their minds decay and they either go crazy or die. So this one is John Keats, and he's been killed. So this is his second body. He has returned because somebody murdered his body. Sorry.
I said he again. He this is his second body. Was the phrase I thought was kind of funny. Like,
yeah.
He's just got another alternate body that he uses.
Yeah, right. Like having another car in the garage, which is kind of what it's like for him. So he has to, but the problem is that his memories whenever he connects to the data plane or whatever, his memories get dumped into there. So basically when he resurrects, he hadn't connected for several days. So he's lost a chunk of his memory. He doesn't know. He feels like he was murdered intentionally because he was poisoned. But he has no idea who he could have, made mad or whatever. It's a mystery. So they go off to solve this mystery. And, there's a lot of, I'm going to probably skip over a lot of the kind of detective work. They do a lot of, I saw this guy, and they go to a bar and someone mentions, oh, I saw that guy with this guy, and they track a guy down and interrogate him. There's a lot of that kind of legwork going on. And there's also a character.
Interesting.
There's also a cyberpunk hacker character that she's in contact with. And she's also in contact with Mina Gladstone, who I've mentioned a couple times, who is the CEO. Just some of the background, Braun's father was a senator, so she has contacts in government. She's the most probably seemingly straight-laced citizen. Well, Saul probably too, but it's almost Saul is just something just fucking happened to him. Everyone else is kind of adventure. And but she's she's like a Star Wars character. She's like Han Solo. So she's like, this is the space detective story, and so much of it is, chestnutty.
Okay.
But they track. They end up tracking the assailants through from planet to planet, and they end up getting, they end up, once they interrogate one guy that they catch, and I'm not sure exactly the order all of this happens, which is why I'm going to kind of smudge over it.
Fair enough.
Because it was a detective story and I listened to it while high. But they're eventually attacked by another group of people because now it's known that they're kind of on the trail of whatever happened to this guy John Keats. And I didn't really say much about this today, but he is the recreated personality of John Keats. And there are three factions within the Technocore. One of those factions is seeking this ultimate, and the ultimate will be able to, based on one sample of, matter from the universe, will be able to predict the future and also make a complete replica of the past, because the universe is in fact deterministic, and from any sample, you can go in any direction and know everything. And that's 1/3 of the Technocore's goal, and that has something to do with why John Keats is here, because they've managed to unpack parts of the past through determinism. So here's John Keats in a body. He wrote the Hyperion Cantos and Endymion and Lamia, bronze. Oh my God! And John Keats's wife or lover.
Mm-hmm.
Her last name may have been Braun. It may have been like something Braun.
Interesting.
I found out. Remember, I was like, it's so weird that her name is Braun. But Braun, the name Braun has to do with someone John Keats knew in life. So it's weird. All of these things seem to be happening to John Keats again now that he's back. Like, it really just seems like a lot of the things, even without his knowledge, are just coming into place the way that they should as far as Hyperion is concerned. Like, like he meets and falls in love with a woman named Braun. And, someone has written the Hyperion Cantos.
Whoa, shit! Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, dude.
Have you been murdered?
Oh no, this Enderman just like zipped and made like Are you familiar with the Enderman character in the Minecraft games?
Yeah.
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 So they're like a Slender Man looking type thing. So so the thing is that Slenderman when they like teleport, they make this whoop noise.
Oh. Okay.
And I didn't realize that I had the sounds for the enemies up loud. And I just get this whoop in my ear, and it just scared the hell out of me.
Awesome.
I'm like, oh man, that thing's coming at me. I'm in some shit. And you know what? It probably would have behooved me to maybe get a sword or something. That would probably be a wise decision.
During all these antics of fleeing from these people and also trying to track them down, they're going from planet to planet, and they end up. And I'm not totally sure if he knew that this planet existed, or if they followed them through this planet that they did not expect to wind up on. But they wind up on what turns out to be a replica of old Earth.
Interesting.
It's almost perfect. It's Earth right. I think it's Earth right before the big mistake, right before the end of Earth. It could be some other time period, but basically they discover that the Technocore has unpacked the past so successfully that they have created one extra Earth somewhere else. I think it's near Orion. Maybe not.
Interesting.
I don't know, because I don't know why. I guess Orion. It's always weird to me because there are people also from Orion in Star Trek, and Orion, as far as I know, is a group of stars and not like one star system where there's a planet where the green guys come from. But anyway, I honestly have no idea. Orion might not have anything to do with where new old Earth is. But this is a big discovery because it's also like, why are they doing this? And a lot of the questions raised in this chapter is, why are the Technocore doing this? Why are they interested in Hyperion? What do they know about the Shrike? Why are they resurrecting poets? Why does it seem like? And it even, like, I think in this chapter it's even revealed that the Technocore may have intentionally destroyed the Earth.
Interesting.
Maybe not the Technocore, but maybe AI agents may have. But it was destroyed intentionally. And now has been rebuilt. Johnny seems to think, after getting some information, it turns out, first of all, he finds out that he was murdered after he went to see a Templar. As you know, that one of the Templars is, no longer with us on the pilgrimage.
Right.
But it was a Templar ship that they came on. So they found out that before he died, in his period of missing memory, he went and visited with a Templar to talk about this Shrike pilgrimage. He doesn't know what caused him to be even interested in talking to a Templar at all. But for some reason, he went to a Templar and ended up getting followed by members of the Shrike Church. So the Technocore, the Shrike Church, and the Templars are all very interested in whatever is going on with Johnny. And after trying to break into the data plane to get some information, whatever he probably finds out the thing about Old Earth, and then he finds out and he speculates, or maybe he feels like it's almost felt to be a certainty within the Technocore that either the Shrike is a weapon designed by the Technocore to move backwards in time to prevent whatever is about to happen on Hyperion, or it was created by humanity for the same reason, to move backwards in time and prevent. So they believe that this, and I guess, I don't know, they don't really think the Ousters have much to do with it. At least the Technocore doesn't. But the Technocore is almost completely certain that there is a war between humankind and AI coming, and that it is near inevitable. So knowing that they are preparing for war, he decides he has to go to Hyperion. Now, I mentioned to you that on worlds where there is a Farcaster in the system, a Farcaster is, a piece of technology. It's a mass relay. Except you don't have to even use a ship. You just walk through a door in your house and you're on another planet. So since there is no Farcaster on Hyperion, that means that Hyperion is outside of what we call the World Web. And since you have to fly there on a tree, Johnny cannot, in his hybrid body, leave the World Web at all. But maybe he can. They go back to the hacker friend of Lamia, and they have to hack into the Technocore to retrieve his personality and download it into a chip in Lamia's head. She's also pregnant with his physical baby, and she's going to have his robot personality imprinted onto a chip in her head. And while but they have to break into the Technocore to steal his personality print, because it's kept whatever in the grid or whatever. And they are attacked by agents of the Shrike Church while this is going on. Johnny is killed before the full imprint takes place, and she leaves with his child and his memories and all of this, knowing that whatever is about to happen on Hyperion is like the crux of time. Like all of these different periods of time are about to intersect at Hyperion. And so she goes. She tracks down the Shrike Church and goes on the final pilgrimage with Johnny in her brain. And this doesn't come up until the second book. But I might mention that the hegemony, because it wasn't a full, they didn't manage to steal his full personality template or whatever. The hegemony is able to print a third John Keats, I guess really a fourth if you count the living one. And so the second book is a lot of it has to do with the third John Keats dealing with the politics of the hegemony, while the pilgrims are still having adventures on Hyperion. And so the second one talks a lot more about why this war is happening, and it does come out to just complete war between humanity and AI in the second book. Fucking cool. Dude. That's the detective story.
That's some wild shit.
He found out something about the Shrike Church and Hyperion. It reminds me almost of it reminds me a little bit of Zaphod Beeblebrox.
I'm sorry, what? Zaphod Beagle, what?
Zaphod Beeblebrox, a character from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, I have not read that. I need to.
And it's something and there's this is kind of an old chestnut too, but it's something where he finds out some secret about the galaxy, but in order for him to pursue it, he can't not only I think he doesn't want to think about it, but he can't, if anyone scans his brain or something, or if he goes through a lie detector, he can't be knowing this secret. So he has to erase part of his memory, but he also has to leave himself clues so that he can find it and unlock that portion of his memory when it's time, when he gets to the place that he's led himself to. It's that's a great concept for a story. Yeah. That's mostly the restaurant at the end of the universe, the second book.
I need to get into those. Like I've had
That's
friends
classic.
I've had friends that have read them, and they've always seemed like great reads. I just never gotten around to it.
They're really easygoing reads. There's not a lot of dense language. It's like light, fluffy kind of language. He's it's funny. It's like comedy. It's like space parody.
I can appreciate that. Rad. Interesting stuff. Digging into all these dudes here. But so and then and you said the next story is gonna, and this is the is this the last story of the book?
Yeah, this is it. The console.
The console. Interesting. I'm all about this. I think. Whew. There's a bunch of gravel here.
Gravel.
Gravel. Yeah, there's just an entire pile of gravel that I may have to sort through. I might have to go make a shovel to do some shovels. But so so this story so this is called The Console. You said this is that the title of the story? Is there like a official title that you happen to have found?
You know what? I might have your wiki or something open right now. That might be fun to know because we've talked about everything.
Let's see here. Simmons.
Oh.
Part 6, The Console's Tale. Remembering Siri.
Remembering Siri. Yeah, the lady in your phone.
Before there even was a Siri.
This Siri lives on Maui Covenant.
Okay.
It's paradise. They got talking dolphins.
They've got talking dolphins.
I almost feel like they're terrestrial Earth dolphins. I feel like they're dolphins that came from Earth and that either evolved or that we just kind of figured out how to talk to them.
Huh.
But maybe not. They might have been talking dolphins that were on the planet when humans came. It's very possible that I feel like there is a weird setup where you think that this story is being told from the perspective of the console, but I may have just missed the part where it says like the console starts reading from the comm logs or playing the comm log. It very well might be that. He might just be playing a comm log, like someone's, audio journal or whatever. But for some reason I was, basically, I'm being a stoned idiot. Because when I was listening to this, and it got to the end, I was like, because first of all, why don't I just start over? Okay. So, this is about a guy named Marin. This is about Marin and Siri.
Okay.
Marin, and so Maui Covenant it's an outback world, but a FARC, the hegemony decides. I also feel like I was surprised when I learned that this took place kind of ages ago. Not ages ago, but, well, we'll talk about time dilation in this one for sure. So the hegemony decides that the next Farcaster is going to be built in the system of Maui Covenant. And a lot of this is, and this story is told from a weird perspective too, because it flashes between Marin arriving, and he's like 30. He's arriving at Maui Covenant for the last time. His wife has died at like the age of 85. And he's visiting her tomb on the day that the Farcaster is going to be activated. So between that, it's also telling the story about how he came to Maui Covenant, 10 years earlier to begin work setting up this, 10 years of his time to begin work setting up this Farcaster, which has been built over the course of the entire lifetime of his wife. Because he's had to go back and forth. And he has to go back and forth to the World Web. And every time he does, he loses a certain number of years. So he visits her throughout her life. You know, when he finally comes back, he's with a man who is way older than him. A man, you know, in his 50s, who is his son. He's the woman's son. He has another son who died in a conflict with the hegemony that he never met, because he's been going back to this planet for his work, helping to set up this Farcaster. So he's missed, you know, and a lot of it is the drama of what he misses out of his wife's life every time he comes back to her.
Oh my gosh.
And every time he comes back, you know, she's showing him her planet, and there's a lot of talk of what the Farcaster is going to change. And, you know, there's a lot of talk about tourism coming to this paradise. He's talking about how once the Farcasters are here, people are going to, the hegemony needs plastic. So we're going to start, you know, pulling whatever resources out of the earth, and just tourists will just be strolling through. They can just open a door in their house and just stroll out onto your beach and, you know, fucking take a shit if they want. So she's concerned about this. She's concerned about this happening.
Okay.
And he starts to become conflicted, because he knows that if there's any kind of uprising, if they don't want this Farcaster to be built, like the hegemony is just going to send in, they call the military the Force.
The Force.
They're just going to send in the Force. Yeah. The hegemony has a CEO, and their military is the Force. So he knows that, like, he's in a bad situation because he agrees with her. And he knows it's going to turn out bad for this planet either way. And he basically, over the course of 6 or 7 years, he gets this, like, flash. He gets to see it beginning to happen. You know, over his 7 years, 70 years go by on Maui Covenant, and he's able to very rapidly see the effects of even just outsiders starting to set up shop.
Huh.
When he finally returns to her tomb, it is empty. She has left him. She was cremated. The tomb was, like, for some reason she ends up venerated. I don't know if she helped seal some deal with the hegemony in the end, but, you know, it's a big deal that they're going to. It might just be her funeral. I don't know. I might have missed this part, but her tomb is empty. She's been cremated, but she has left him audio logs of, you know, a lot of what she eventually ended up feeling about it, how she ended, and he basically, through listening to her side of it again, he is like, you know what, fuck the hegemony of man, fuck mankind. You guys are all motherfuckers. You guys come out of your fucking bedroom because you want to take a shit on the beach in the morning, and then you zap back away. Fuck mankind.
Wow.
And she was able to, over the course of the last time he had been gone, she was able to put some plans into motion, and he is able to, you know, issue the final commands or whatever, and the Farcaster is destroyed. And the Force comes in and fucking destroys the planet. And Donald, the older man, who was Marin's son, just gets picked up, and he joins the hegemony and becomes a fucking senator or something. And so his son, the consul, when he finds these logs and discovers the story of what happened to his grandmother and grandfather, he ends up going out and making friends with the ousters. He discovers, well, not really discovers, but, you know, there's a passage where he talks about how the hegemony's way of life is to discover a new planet, make it exactly like the rest of the hegemony, and just send the same asshole people there to live there. Where the ousters, when they discover a new planet, they do what they need to do to change themselves to be able to adapt and live on the planet. I mentioned that they're very spindly and have genetically modified themselves, and it's because they are committed to living within the cosmos and living on these various worlds without destroying them. So, it's a very easy kind of black and white. Oh, well, the Ousters are actually the good guys. But they're also descending upon Hyperion. They've destroyed Yggdrasil, the tree ship. That's probably the council was the Templar was despondent and disappeared. Like the Ouster, the war is the AI versus humanity, but the Ousters, we're still not totally sure exactly what their interest is. But they're the ones fighting humanity right now above the planet. And the Ousters have given the console a device. I may have already mentioned that this device existed, but it will bring the time tombs into actual reality. It will collapse the anti-entropic field. The time tombs will begin moving forward normally, and they will open. There's all this talk I've mentioned before of this time when the time tombs match up and they open and we find out what was put in them, and that has been traveling backwards this whole time. And it's really funny that how that happens is not really discussed. Like they give him a device, like he presses a button and poof, the fall of Hyperion. Perhaps the fall of mankind. The Shrike, as I mentioned, has been traveling the countryside. Like it's been getting bold and going out, but this is going to fully release it. Whatever it is, it's time to find out.
Shit.
And basically they all have, some final thoughts or whatever, but in the morning they go walking down the yellow brick road and they sing the song about going to see the wizard, and the book ends. And that's Hyperion, and I'm obsessed with it. And maybe I'll talk more about the second book eventually, but we got some topics we're going to cover, and I think reading is awesome. I can't believe I don't know how to read anymore. Books are so cool. I have I keep slowly rediscovering why I like art and people. But over the past year, I think I've really remembered that I just like stories. I just like I notice what types of aesthetics I get into, and I'm very visual. I really like looking at just landscapes, places, and animals. But and in playing video games, that's what appeals to me. Good looking games, gameplay also. I talk about gameplay and I talk about the aesthetics. I never fucking talk about story, because I almost 2 years ago, I for sure would have said that there is no reason for a game to have a story at all. So and now that I'm doing, but I also, a lot of stuff happened to me, and in reaction to it, I decided to do nothing but play video games for 5 years. So that's where I'm at now.
Dude, that's
funny. I recovered from playing World of Warcraft and being an alcoholic by playing other video games for 5 years. Because World of Warcraft is not a video game. It's a trap.
Yeah. And again, but it's just it's okay, man. I was gonna say I dealt with a lot of the same, man. Especially trying to find joy again, I guess would be the best way I could describe it.
Yo,
if you will.
Yeah. No. Yep.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's good.
Yeah.
I went out to so for example, I went out the other day for I used to play in a band a while ago, and my old drummer calls me. He's got a new band going, and he's like, yeah, dude, come out to the show. It'll be a good time. Know you're back. I just moved back to town, so I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I haven't been part of the scene in a minute. Let's see what this is like. And everybody, I thought I was gonna walk into a whole bunch of I don't know, again, I feel like I'm old man on a lawn, oh, people don't help people don't help each other out anymore in the scene.
I
People
know
don't
that feeling.
yeah, people don't
That old man feeling.
whatever happened to good old fashioned, being humble and
Predictability.
jeez,
The
Louise.
milkman, the paperboy, evening TV.
Straight up, bud. And so, but I go out and like everybody was cool as hell, and like I avoided it for a long while because like I was under the impression, well, for one, like our band didn't exactly end very nicely, and and I wasn't sure how much of a how tight I was with the scene still, and apparently I walked away unscathed, and everybody like dug me and actually was asking where the hell I'd been. They all thought I died.
Man, it's easy to forget that really everyone's pretty cool.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, everybody's just
it's
trying.
Fine.
But
no, you do. You get but it there's something that builds up in your head, like, oh, I'm not gonna go back there. All this, but I really So much of why I talk about games and stories and movies and TV is trying to rediscover something other than just work and booze. Misery and then something to kill the pain every day forever, just in a loop. Like something else to life. Cucumbers and Mario.
I like it.
Yo.
Like, yeah, I'm trying to get back to finding that too. Like again, I went to Guitar Center and I also picked up a whole bunch of like equipment and started. I had this half stack that I haven't played in like 7 years. And
rad.
I started going to town on it the other day. It was fun.
Cool.
Holy
fuck! I'm into encouraging people to make things and fucking read.
Absolutely, and I think that's a. And we're gonna be like the stoner reading Rainbow, except it's like except it's just weird shit.
Night gaunt's in the sky. Hi, buddy. Hi.
I was gonna say there's also there's definitely a handful of things that I have on the docket coming soon. Like
rad.
I know the one thing that I did really want to cover was are you familiar with the Georgia Guidestone? Or Georgia Guidestones, I should say.
Yeah. Is it like a henge?
Yeah, it's the henge in the middle of fucking Georgia.
Yeah, do they have English words on them?
They have what?
English words? There's something written? Like, are there prayers or commandments?
I believe they were actually, I believe they were ciphers, if I remembered correctly.
Weird, spooky alien language?
Yeah, it's so. Again, just to not spoil too hard, but yeah, like basically there was this just one day this stone came out of nowhere and people started speculating, and it had all these ciphers and stuff on it, and people, when they were figuring out what the ciphers were saying, it was basically a means of how to start humanity over again. And it had a lot of really weird shit on how to start humanity over again, and a lot of people believe that it was the Satanic Temple doing it. And
so this is not what I was thinking of. This is not the thing that I know. This is not This is not something I know about. I think there's some like there's some big slabs of concrete with like the Bible written on them in Georgia. That I guess is not what you're talking about.
Wait, no. That is it. I didn't know if it was in English or not, but
yeah. But it is like big. It's big slab. I mean, I saw what looked man-made. It looked like a big, like a bunch of slabs of concrete that had been placed there.
Yeah. Okay. That's basically what it was. I just don't know what language it was written in. It was like it was a 3 a.m. discovery, and somebody was talking about it. But oh wait, no, it was on Reddit because was it this past year? Somebody had basically exploded.
Oh. I don't think this is. I think I'm thinking of something else. I really don't think I'm thinking about the story you're telling me.
Well, we'll figure it out then.
We'll find out.
We'll find out next week then. But Yeah, like I was gonna say I'm pretty. I think I'm pretty set. That was a very fucking fascinating story. I definitely want to read the hell out of that. Let me know if you go into the second book and let me know if it's good.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I haven't finished it, but it's neat. Yeah, it's about a lot of it is about John Keats and politics.
Right on.
John Keats and space politics.
I can dig it. But all right, and I guess we'll sign it off here. Yeah, so tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat station, or something like that. I've been Thrash K-Shu, and this has been Kuya DK. Thank you all for so much for watching. Thought that was weird. Catch y'all next time.